विच इज द प्रेसिडेंट ऑफ इंडिया इज द हाईएस्ट कंस्टिट्यूशनल पोस्ट. ठीक है, अगर आप व्हेन यू टॉक अबाउट द कंस्टिट्यूशनल पोस्ट तो ऐसे आता है प्रेसिडेंट, वाइस प्रेसिडेंट, वो वाला जो है ना वो बाद में याद कर लेना. तो हाईएस्ट, द प्रेसिडेंट इज नॉट इलेक्टेड डायरेक्टली, ये तो सबको पता है. इलेक्टेड इनडायरेक्टली कितने दिन से ये बात चल रही है. इज कंडक्टेड बाई इलेक्शन कमिश्नर ऑफ इंडिया, कंडक्ट करते हैं. पीपल इलेक्ट एमपी एंड एमएलए, एंड ये एमपी एंड एमएलए बैठ के प्रेसिडेंट को इलेक्ट करते हैं. क्लियर. टाइप्स ऑफ इलेक्शन. इनडायरेक्ट इलेक्शन में क्या होता है, पीपल डू नॉट वोट डायरेक्टली. लोग ना बैठ के डायरेक्ट वोट नहीं कर रहे हैं, बोलते अरे कौन बैठ के अपने डायरेक्ट वोट करने जाए. एमपी एंड एमएलए है ना, वो बिहाफ ऑफ पीपल पे वोट करेंगे, ऑन द बिहाफ ऑफ पीपल दे आर गोइंग टू वोट. तो इनडायरेक्ट इलेक्शन इसलिए क्योंकि प्रेसिडेंट जो है, आप देखो आप टाइप्स ऑफ इलेक्शन कर दी, इनडायरेक्ट है. ठीक है, जो प्रेसिडेंट है वो नॉमिनल हेड है, दे आर पीएम इज द रियल एग्जीक्यूटिव हेड. ठीक है, तो डायरेक्ट इलेक्शन जो होता है वो कहीं ना कहीं कॉस्टली भी हो जाता है, टाइम कंज्यूमिंग भी हो जाता है. तो इलेक्टोरल कॉलेज आर्टिकल 54, व्हाट इज इलेक्टोरल कॉलेज, किसको किसको पता है कि इलेक्टोरल कॉलेज क्या होता है. इलेक्टेड मेंबर ऑफ लोकसभा, राज्यसभा एंड इलेक्टेड मेंबर ऑफ अ स्टेट लेजिस्लेटिव. इलेक्टेड मेंबर ऑफ द स्टेट लेजिस्लेटिव, elected member of Delhi and Puducherry, elected member of the Delhi and Puducherry, 70 Constitution Amendment Act 992, 70 Constitution Amendment Act 1992. Elected member of Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha, State Legislative Assembly, elected member of Delhi and Puducherry. ठीक है, added by the 70th Constitutional Amendment Act 1992. Nominated member not included and legislative member are not included. ठीक है, वैकेंसी रूल का 11 कंस्टिट्यूशन अमेंडमेंट एक्ट 961. इलेक्टेड इलेक्शन इज वैलिड इवन इफ सम सीट्स आर वैकेंट. ठीक है, इलेक्शन इज वैलिड इवन इफ सम सीट्स आर वैकेंट. 11 Constitution Amendment Act 1961. इलेक्शन इज वैलिड इवन इफ सम सीट्स आर वैकेंट इन द इलेक्टोरल कॉलेज. ऐसा नहीं होता कि वैकेंट सीट है तो वो वैकेंसी में मान लो आप 20 लोग हो. ठीक है, 16 बच्चे ही आते हैं स्कूल में और फिर एक इलेक्शन हो जाता है और आपके क्लास के हेड अपॉइंट हो जाते हैं. तो वही चीज़ है, इलेक्शन इज वैलिड इवन इफ सम सीट्स आर वैकेंट इन द इलेक्शन कॉलेज. तो वही रहेगा. वैल्यू ऑफ द वोट, आर्टिकल 55 इज व्हाट, वैल्यू ऑफ द वोट depends upon population, number of MLA. Population and number of MLA. Value is different in different states. ठीक है, value of course different. 1971 census population is 0. 84 Constitution Amendment Act 2001. Value of MP vote. Total value of MLA vote is equal to total value of MP vote. So there is a balance between the center and the states. वोटिंग मेथड क्या, सिंगल ट्रांसफरेबल वोट. ठीक है, वोटर गिव्स प्रेफरेंस. वोटिंग इज डन बाय द व्हाट, सीक्रेट बैलेट, एंड इंश्योर क्या करता है, फेयर रिप्रेजेंटेशन. फेयर रिप्रेजेंटेशन. काउंटिंग ऑफ वोट क्या है, कैंडिडेट गेट्स व्हाट, मोर देन 50% वोट. कैंडिडेट मस्ट गेट मोर देन 50% ऑफ द वोट. ठीक है, फर्स्ट प्रेफरेंस वोट को काउंट किया जाता है. अगर कोई भी नहीं जीता तब तो भाई बहुत दिक्कत है. तो जिसके पास सबसे कम वोट है उसको कहा जाता है भाई तुम निकलो. वोट्स आर ट्रांसफर टू द सेकंड प्रेफरेंस. ठीक है, फर्स्ट प्रेफरेंस में तो कोई नहीं जीता, कम वोट वाले को हटा दिया, तो जो सेकंड प्रेफरेंस में तो कोई होगा ना तो वो जीत जाता है. देखिए एक्चुअली लास्ट वाले को नहीं, लास्ट वाले है ना, लास्ट वाले को हटा दिए. मान लो लास्ट वाले के पास मान लो उसको सिर्फ 4 वोट आया है, उसको हटा दिए. उसके वोट का क्या करें, तो उसके वोट को सेकंड प्रेफरेंस वाले में जाके ऐड कर दो. प्रोसेस कंटिन्यूस अनलेस अंटिल वन कैंडिडेट विन. जब तक वन कैंडिडेट विन ना हो जाए तब तक ये प्रोसेस कंटिन्यू रहता है. द इलेक्शन of the president is fair, balanced, and democratic. It represents both state and the union. Indirect election supports the parliamentary system and federal structure. The president indirect election 54, electoral college 55, value of vote, STV, preference voting, and census use 1971. Article 60 क्या है, oath or affirmation. The CCGI administer it. If CGI is absent, तो senior most judge जो होते हैं वो administer करते हैं. Who takes the oath? President and any person acting as president or discharging the president function. ठीक है, president स्वर क्या कहते हैं, the president promise to preserve, protect and defend the constitution. This shows president is the guardian of the constitution. Preserve, protect and defend the constitution. Preserve, protect and defend the constitution. आर्टिकल 56 एंड 57 के दैट प्रेसिडेंट होल्ड द ऑफिस फॉर 5 ईयर एंड टर्म जो होता है स्टार्ट होता है फ्रॉम द डे ही और शी इंटर्स द ऑफिस. री इलेक्शन क्या पर्सन इज और वॉज प्रेसिडेंट कैन बी री इलेक्टेड. पर्सन हु इज और वॉज प्रेसिडेंट कैन बी री इलेक्टेड. ठीक है. नो लिमिट ऑन नंबर ऑफ टर्म्स. इम्पीचमेंट. ग्राउंड ऑफ इम्पीचमेंट क्या है? इफ देयर इज वायलेशन ऑफ द constitution. Constitution does not define what violation means. Only it is written in the constitution in case of violation. But what is the real meaning of violation? It is not defined. अब देखो तेज बोलने से क्या हो रहा है ना, इको कर रहा है, या रिवर्बरेशन इज समथिंग वी हैव स्टडीड इन साइंस, सो दैट इज हैपनिंग. तो अब धीरे ही बोलना होगा. प्रोसेस ऑफ इम्पीचमेंट. इनिशिएशन ऑफ द चार्ज. आइदर लोकसभा और राज्यसभा कैन स्टार्ट द इम्पीचमेंट. ठीक है. ऐसा ना, इनिशिएशन ऑफ द चार्ज क्या है, लोकसभा भी कर सकता है, राज्यसभा भी. स्टेटमेंट वाइज क्वेश्चन में आएगा सिर्फ लोकसभा या सिर्फ राज्यसभा, नहीं, दोनों में से कोई भी. एंड ऑल एमपी पार्टिसिपेट इन द प्रोसेस. ठीक है. नाउ नोटिस क्या है, 1/4 मेंबर ऑफ द इनिशिएटिंग हाउस मस्ट पास द नोटिस. ठीक है. एंड प्रेसिडेंट को 14 दिन का नोटिस दिया जाता है. नोटिस 1/4 मेंबर मस्ट साइन. साइन को इतना करेगा 1/4, कितने दिन पहले, 14. रिजोल्यूशन. इनिशिएटिंग हाउस मस्ट पास द रिजोल्यूशन. ठीक है. रिजोल्यूशन 2/3 of the total membership. 2/3 of the total membership. Investigation by other house. Charge go to the other house. The house investigation itself or appoints the committee. President has a right to defend himself or herself. Investigation by other house. Charge go to the other house. Charge can investigation itself or appoint a committee. And president has the right to defend herself or himself. Removal क्या है? If second house also passes the resolution tutor and president is removed from the office. Power and function executive, legislative, judicial and other power. Session क्या? Legislative में क्या है? Session of the parliament. Addresses. First session after general election and first session of every year. First session after general election and first session after every year. Legislative में पहला क्या है? Session. कौन सा session? First session after general election and every year जो भी होगा. And summon and procures the parliament. Summons and procures the parliament. Bill and law making. Some bill needs prior recommendation of the president, such as money bill, bill under Article 3. This is a creation of states and bill related to consolidated fund of India. Some bill need prior recommendation, जैसे money bill हो गया, bill under Article 3, bill related to the consolidated fund of India. Bill and lawmaking. Some bill need prior recommendation of president. Say money bill, bill under Article 3, creation of a state, and bill related to the consolidated fund of India. Other legislative power. Nominated member of the Rajya Sabha can call for information on pending bill, joint sitting and decide the disqualification 100 to 1 के अंदर on advice of the election commissioner. On advice of what? Election commissioner. तो आप ये वाला चाहो तो स्क्रीनशॉट ले लो. 4 टाइप्स ऑफ पावर वाला लेजिस्लेटिव में देख लेना. बिल और लॉ मेकिंग पावर भी आप देख लेना, उसी में आ जाएगा. Some bill need prior recommendation such as money bill, Article 3, creation of the states, bill related to what? The consolidated fund of India. Other legislative power. Nominated member of Rajya Sabha can call for what? Information on pending house and joint sitting of the parliament. And decides what? Disqualification of MP 100 to 1 on advice of the election commissioner. President power over bill. Assent क्या है? Bill becomes law. Absolute क्या है? President rejects the bill completely. Assent क्या है? जहाँ पे bill law बन जाता है. Absolute क्या है? President rejects the bill completely. सस्पेंसिव वेटो क्या है? सेल्स द बिल फॉर द रिकंसिडरेशन एंड इफ पार्लियामेंट पासेस इट अगेन तो क्या है? प्रेसिडेंट मस्ट गिव असेंट, ठीक है, प्रेसिडेंट को असेंट देना होगा। पॉकेट वेटो क्या है? प्रेसिडेंट टेक्स नो एक्शन। A bill remains pending, ठीक है, प्रेसिडेंट टेक्स नो एक्शन एंड बिल रिमेन्स पेंडिंग। सस्पेंसिव वेटो क्या है? प्रेसिडेंट सेंड्स बैक द बिल फॉर रिकंसिडरेशन, इफ पार्लियामेंट पासेस इट अगेन प्रेसिडेंट मस्ट गिव एक्सेंट, ठीक है। The oath of office to the president administered by the CGI in Article 60 provides oath. In absence of the CGI, the senior most judge of the Supreme Court administers the oath. And the president can administer the oath himself. President hold the office for 5 years and Article 56 क्या होता है? Fix the term of the president. A person can be elected president only once, ये तो wrong है, and also Article 57 क्या होता है? Re-election allow करता है। नहीं याद आ रहा है तो जाके रिवाइज करो ना। देयर इज नो लिमिट ऑन द नंबर ऑफ टाइम्स अ प्रेसिडेंट कैन बी री इलेक्टेड। द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन डज नॉट प्रिस्क्राइब एनी लिमिट। The president can be impeached for violation of the constitution and Article 61 provides the procedure for the impeachment. Only law can initiate impeachment proceeding against the president and either house of the parliament can initiate the impeachment. President has the right to defend himself during the impeachment and the second house investigate a charge. President summons and propagates the parliament and executive power of the union is vested in the hand of the president. Money bill can be introduced without president recommendation, requires prior recommendation of the president. President can nominate member to the Rajya Sabha and this ensures representation. प्रेसिडेंट कैन रिटर्न द बिल फॉर द रिकंसिडरेशन एंड इसको हम सस्पेंसिव वेटो कहते हैं। पॉकेट वेटो मीन्स प्रेसिडेंट रिजेक्ट्स द बिल ओपनली। एंड पॉकेट वेटो में क्या है? प्रेसिडेंट टेक्स नो एक्शन ऑन द बिल, प्रेसिडेंट टेक्स नो एक्शन ऑन द बिल। Oath of the president क्या? Oath is administered by the CGI. In absence of CGI, senior most supreme court judge होते हुए administer करते हैं and person acting as president also takes the oath. तो oath क्या include करता है? Preserve the constitution, protect and defend the constitution. Regarding the term of the president, कौन correct है? 5 साल re-election and no maximum limit. Re-election Article 57 देखिए, president can be impeached on which ground? Violation of the constitution. Impeachment के लिए क्या सही? Either house of the parliament can initiate the impeachment, 1/4 member must notice and 14 member को notice मिलता है। For removal of the president कौन सा required है? 2/3 majority in initiating house and 2/3 क्या है? In the second house. Legislative power क्या है? Summon and propagate nominate member of the Rajya Sabha and call sitting of the parliament. Which bill requires prior recommendation of the president? Money bill, bill under Article 3 and Consolidate Fund of India. President of India involves disqualification 102 में and election commissioner में. Which statement requires pocket veto are correct? President takes no action on the bill and bill remains pending. Person acting as a president must also take the oath of office, and any person discharging the function of president undertakes a similar oath. President swears to preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution. President is guardian of the Constitution. President holds the office for 5 years, and the term starts from the date of the election. ये गलत है दूसरा वाला. President can be elected for more than once, and the Constitution does not fix any maximum limit on the election. Article 60 क्या, who administered the CGI? If CGI is absent, senior most judge and any precedent on person discharging the president for the similar oath. What does the president swear? Preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution. Term of the office के आर्टिकल 56 ठीक है, 5 year, and the term क्या, date of entering the office. Re-election का आर्टिकल 57, the president can be re-elected, and कोई भी number of term पे कोई वो नहीं है restrictions. आर्टिकल 61 के impeachment का, removal of the president, reason क्या, violation of the constitution. ठीक है, does not clearly define what violation means. Who can start the impeachment? वो लोकसभा या तो राज्यसभा, तो मतलब कोई भी. all member participate करते हैं, nominated and elected. Steps of the impeachment क्या, charges can be initiated by one house, notice 1/4 of the member, 14 days notice, resolution 2 times of the membership. Charges are sent to the other house, investigation itself or appoints a committee. Removal क्या है, 2/3 of the member, president is removed from the office. एग्जीक्यूटिव मेंबर क्या है, ऑल एग्जीक्यूटिव वर्क ऑफ द यूनियन इज डन इन द नेम ऑफ द प्रेसिडेंट. ओके, तो व्हाट एवर द एग्जीक्यूटिव ठीक, एग्जीक्यूट जो भी होता है काम, एग्जीक्यूट. ओके, फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल थिंक ओवर इट. ओके, थिंक ओवर द वर्ड एग्जीक्यूटिव. द प्रेसिडेंट क्या है, कंस्टिट्यूशनल हेड है. अनरियल पावर क्या है, काउंसिल ऑफ द मिनिस्टर, रूल्स एंड रेगुलेशंस एंड ऑर्डर्स आर इशूड बाय द प्रेसिडेंट नेम. Prime Minister, Council of Ministers, Chief Election Commission, Controller General of the India, UPSC, Chairman of SC, ST and OBC, formation of the Internal State Council, special administrative power क्या, declare schedule area and notify करना. Schedule caste, legislative power of the president. Role in the parliament, address करता है parliament का first session after general election and first session of every year. Okay, so this is very important. What it legislate, ठीक है, summon and prorogue of the parliament and call for the joint session. ये legislative में आता है. Bill requiring president prior recommendation. Money bill, of course, money bill में तो है ही. And bill under article 3. And bill related to consolidate fund of India. Nominated and disqualification member क्या है, राज्यसभा. Decide disqualification of MP 102. Power related to the bill, give assent, bill become law, withhold the assent, absolute veto, return the bill, suspensive veto, and take no action. Okay, it's like a pocket में डाल दो कुछ नहीं, return the bill. Okay, because you were so suspensive about it that you returned it. And money bill can never be returned. Withhold, absolute, give assent, bill becomes law. Ordinance making power is a temporary law. Okay, it is what? It is a temporary law issued when parliament is not in session. 123, president can issue ordinance on union list subject. This is very important. You need to underline this. Condition, parliament not in session and president must be satisfied that immediate action is needed. Duration of the ordinance must be placed before the parliament. First thing you have to remember that it must be placed before whom? Before the parliament. Ceases to operate after 6 weeks from the reassembly of the parliament, or earlier if disapproved by both the houses. And now three important cases are there that we are going to see. All three cases are related to Supreme Court only. RC Cooper case 1969. Immediate action is subject to judicial review. DC Vadava case 1985 to 1987. Repeated repromulgation of ordinance is unconstitutional. An ordinance Raj is not allowed. Ordinance Raj is not allowed. Judicial power of the President, Article 72, applies to the central law. Pardon, reprieve, respite, remission, and commutation. Can pardon the death sentence and also the court martial case. Pardon means what? You are full forgiving a person and the punishment is removed. Reprieve. Okay, reprieve. You can just remember by pause. Okay, it's a kind of pause. Temporarily delay of the punishment. Respite, reduce, reduce. Okay. Rest. Punishment reduced to special reason. Okay, reason reduced. Remission, the sentence has been reduced. And commutation is what? When you turn the punishment, when you convert the punishment into a lighter form. Usually it happens when death sentence is given to the criminal. Appointment of the judges. President can appoint Supreme Court judges and also the High Court judges. Judicial power, President, Article 72. It applies to the central law, can pardon the death sentence in the martial law. Power related to the government. Article 155. Governor is appointed by the President. Governor is appointed by the President. 156. Governor holds the office during the pleasure of the President. Governor can resign by writing to whom? The President. Military power, Supreme Commander of Armed Forces. Diplomatic power can appoint ambassador and diplomat and represent India in the international relation. Discretionary power, appointment of PM in a hung assembly. Ordinance making power, 213 of the governor. Governor can issue ordinance when state legislative is not in session, only on state subject. Same limitation as president ordinance power. Quick revision we are going to do now. President is what? Nominal executive head. 123 ordinance of the president. 213 ordinance of governor. Ordinance Raj is unconstitutional. President can pardon the death sentence and the court martial cases, and governor cannot pardon the death sentences. All executive actions of the union government are taken in the name of the governor. Who appoints the PM? President. President appoints which of the following? Chief Election Commissioner, Comptroller and Audit General, and also the Attorney General. Next is what? Ordinance 123. An ordinance issued by the Parliament must be approved within the 6 weeks. ठीक है, re-promulgation of ordinance, Vadhava case. President can issue ordinance on union list. Which of the following is a judicial power of the president? Granting the pardon. Which, Article 72. Now, which of the following can be pardoned by the president? Death sentence, goes to court martial cases, and also punishment which is under central law. The governor cannot pardon the death sentence. Who appoints the judges of the Supreme Court and High Court? It's like president. The president is supreme commander of armed force. Which veto allows the president to take no actions? Pocket veto. Who appoints the governor of state? President. Legislative power क्या है? Protem speaker. Governor appoints protem speaker and works till the permanent speaker is elected. ठीक है, तो legislative power क्या है? Protem speaker addresses to the legislative address first session of the every year, and also after like summon, propagate and dissolve. Assent to the bill. Governor can give assent, withhold the bill, or reserve the bill. Ordinance making power. पार्डनिंग पावर ऑफ द प्रेसिडेंट के आर्टिकल 72, पार्डनिंग पावर क्या है आर्टिकल 161 में मेंशन्ड है। देखो पार्डन पावर प्रेसिडेंट का और हमको वो करना है, ठीक है, एंड गवर्नर का। तो द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन ऑफ इंडिया प्रोवाइड्स द पावर ऑफ द पार्डन एग्जीक्यूशन ऑफ द पावर ऑफ द मर्सी। आर्टिकल 72 के प्रेसिडेंट ऑफ इंडिया एंड आर्टिकल 161 के गवर्नर स्टेट है empowered टू ग्रांट पार्डन, ठीक है। Power of the pardon के Article 72. Pardon, reprieve, respite, remission, and commutation. The prince can exercise this power in the following cases: when punishment is awarded by the court martial, the king can exercise the power in the when punishment is awarded by the court martial, and when punishment क्या है death sentence, and when punishment central law के अंदर है. The punishment is executive in nature, not judicial, and exercised by the aid and advice of the council of minister. The power applies only to the offence under the state law. The governor cannot pardon a death sentence and cannot pardon court-martial punishment. Processing of the pardon. Mercy petition is submitted to Union Home Ministry President and State Home Ministry Governor. The decision is taken on the advice of Council of Minister. The President can return the advice once for the reconsideration, and after reconsideration, the advice becomes binding. Limitation can not absolute, and it is subject to what the judicial review must be exercised when the government advice cannot be used arbitrarily. This sentence क्या है can pardon cannot pardon, court martial क्या है can pardon cannot pardon, law applied क्या central law state law, pardon क्या है complete forgiveness, and फिर क्या हुआ ये punishment जो होता है वो remove हो गया, commutation क्या है change हो गया, remission क्या है reduction in duration.